You did not find this by accident. Nothing in your world is random. Everything shows up precisely when it must. And this message, this very moment, is a sign. Your breakthrough has already begun. You may think you are still waiting, still hoping, still climbing. But understand this: what you believe, what you assume, is already shaping itself into form. If you can see the shift, even if only faintly, it means it has already taken place in your unseen world. You do not need to chase, you do not need to strive. The moment you claimed the desire in your imagination, it was done. The only question now is, can you dwell in that knowing? The version of you who has already received the breakthrough is not out there. It is within you now. You must embody the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Speak as though it's done. Walk as though it's real. Rest in the quiet confidence that it is already accomplished. Because the truth is simple. The world will not show it to you until you show it to yourself. And now that you see it, it is here. Your job is not to make it happen. Your job is to align yourself with the unseen reality already set in motion. Move in faith, not blind faith, but faith in what you have already accepted in your imagination. This moment confirms it, the timing, the message, your inner pull. These are not coincidences. They are echoes from the future telling you it is done. So stand firm. Assume the position of one who has already crossed the line. Don't question the how. Let life orchestrate that. Your only task is to stay faithful to the vision, to live in the feeling of the outcome. You have crossed into a new timeline. A version of you is already celebrating. Now step into it. It's yours. Your world as you know it is not built from the outside in. It is shaped and formed from the inside out. Every condition, every circumstance, every relationship you encounter is but a reflection, a mirror of the dominant assumptions you carry within your own consciousness. It does not matter what others say, what events unfold externally, or what logic dictates. What matters always is what you believe to be true about yourself and your reality. And when that belief changes, the entire world must bend to it. You are not a victim of fate or a puppet of chance. You are the cause. Life does not happen to you, it happens through you. The outer world is like a screen projecting the film of your inner world. If you begin to notice a shift in your reality, even a small one, it is because something inside of you has moved. A silent assumption, a new self-concept, a deep inner acceptance has taken root, and the external is simply catching up. Most people are trapped in the illusion that they must first change what is outside to feel different inside. They chase validation, success, love, and freedom as though these things are out there to be conquered. But the truth is this: nothing changes out there until something shifts in here. The outer reflects the inner, always and without exception. You are looking at your own beliefs, clothed in time and space. You are watching your assumptions made visible. When you begin to assume differently, to truly see yourself as worthy, powerful, chosen, successful, your reality must respond. You will find yourself in new situations, meeting new people, drawing different outcomes, but it won't feel forced. It won't feel like effort, because these things are not attracted, they are reflected. You don't magnetize what you want, you reflect what you are. If you assume lack, life will reflect that to you. If you assume love, life will mirror that back, not because the universe is judging you, but because your inner world is the blueprint. Your dominant feeling, your sustained mental image, becomes the mold from which your experiences are poured. The law is precise. The mirror does not ask whether you like what you see. It only shows you what you are giving it. This is why inner work is not a luxury, it is the foundation. When you close your eyes and enter the quiet sanctuary of imagination, you are not escaping reality, you are forming it. You are choosing the seeds to be planted, and once planted, they will grow, quietly, steadily, and inevitably. Your job is to assume the harvest is already yours. So if today you feel something has shifted, if you notice new peace, new confidence, or even new discomfort, know that something deeper is taking shape. The outer reflects the inner. That means your breakthrough, your answered prayer, your long-awaited change is not coming, it has already begun. Hold the new assumption, dwell in it, persist in it, for the outer must follow the inner, just as surely as night follows day. Reality does not begin with what your eyes see or what your hands can touch. It begins in a place far more powerful and far more silent, your imagination. Everything that appears solid, real, and external was first conceived in the invisible realm of consciousness. The outer world is only the final stage, the echo of something much deeper. What you accept as true in your imagination, what you entertain, feel, and believe with conviction, becomes the very substance of your experience. This is the great secret that most overlook. Consciousness is not passive. It is the creative force behind all that exists. You are not merely observing life, you are generating it. Every thought accepted as real, every feeling consistently held, every scene vividly imagined in your inner world, weaves itself into the tapestry of your outer life. What you assume to be true becomes true for you, not because of chance, but because your state of consciousness determines the shape and form of your reality. Most people live reactively, believing their circumstances dictate what they are allowed to feel or imagine. But the truth is the exact opposite. Your feelings and imaginings shape your circumstances. When you begin to deliberately accept something as true in your inner world, without needing permission from the outer world, you activate the hidden machinery of creation. Life begins to reorganize around your new assumption. Doors open, people appear, situations shift, not through effort, but through alignment. Your breakthrough does not begin when the money comes, the opportunity lands, or the healing shows up. Your breakthrough begins the moment you believe it already has. That belief, when felt deeply and consistently in the quiet of your soul, sets everything else in motion. It does not matter what appears to be true now. What matters is what you are choosing to make true in your inner world. That is where the real work happens. That is where transformation begins. Imagination is not idle fantasy, it is the blueprint, the creative engine, the spiritual workshop in which all things are first formed. When you use it deliberately, when you close your eyes and live from the reality you desire, feeling it, embracing it, walking in it, then you are laying the foundation for its inevitable appearance. And the stronger your belief, the faster the manifestation. Doubt, on the other hand, delays. When you waver between two opinions, when you wonder whether it's possible or when it will arrive, you interrupt the creative flow. But when you stand firm in the feeling of it already being so, without needing signs or confirmation, you collapse time. You become one with the outcome. Consciousness does not lie. It brings to life what you are loyal to in thought and emotion. The world around you is not happening to you, it is happening through you, by you, for you. Every outcome you see began as a seed in your own mind, and every new desire is a divine nudge, a reminder that you are not limited to what has been, you are always free to choose again. So choose now, choose boldly, accept the new reality in your imagination. Not someday, not when things improve, but now, because the moment you believe it has happened, it has. And the world will rush to prove you right. You are not at the mercy of life. You are not a passive observer in a world that moves without your permission. You are the operant power, the silent, unseen force that shapes and molds every detail of your experience. Nothing is happening to you, everything is happening through you, through your awareness, your belief, your assumptions, and the state of consciousness you occupy day after day. You are not a victim of circumstance, you are the author of it. The world you walk through is not random or chaotic. It is precise, ordered, and obedient to your inner state. This is the law. Whatever you accept as true about yourself, your world, and your life begins to externalize itself with absolute fidelity. Life is not choosing for you. You are choosing for yourself through the quality of your awareness. The phrase "I am" is the root of all creation. Whatever follows "I am" with conviction becomes the foundation of your identity, and from identity springs experience. If you constantly say, "I am stuck," "I am lost," or "I am waiting," then life must organize itself to match that confession. But if you declare and feel, "I am free, I am chosen, I am successful," then a new script begins to unfold. The change doesn't begin in the world, it begins in you. This is why nothing outside of you has ultimate authority, not other people, not the economy, not your past. These are shadows cast by your inner assumptions. The world responds not to what you want, but to what you are, to the state you consistently occupy. And you are always occupying a state. Every moment of the day you are either dwelling in limitation or expansion, in fear or in faith, in lack or in fulfillment. The beauty is this: you have the power to shift your state at any moment. You can decide to no longer identify with the version of you that is waiting, doubting, or struggling. You can move into the awareness of being the person who already has the thing, who already lives in the outcome, who already embodies the reality they once desired. This movement is internal, quiet, and deeply transformative. Understand this: there is no power outside of your own consciousness. All cause is mental. All creation is spiritual before it becomes physical. When you fully grasp that your awareness is the source of all that you experience, you stop begging the world to change and you begin to change within. That is where your true power lies. The moment you shift how you see yourself, your outer world must reflect that shift. If you become aware of yourself as someone who is chosen, worthy, and deeply secure, then people, circumstances, and events will mirror that belief. They have no choice. They are only ever responding to the vibration you are sending out from within. So take back your power. Not with force, not with control, but with awareness, with clarity, with the deep knowing that you are the one writing the script. Life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. And the story it tells depends entirely on who you are being now. Desire is not random, it is not an accident or a fleeting thought that drifts into your mind without meaning. Every true desire that rises within you, one that feels alive, rich, and deeply personal, is a signal from the unseen. It is not something you need to chase. It is a divine blueprint already imprinted upon your inner reality, waiting for your acceptance. The moment you recognize the desire clearly and feel its truth, it is already yours. In the unseen, seed has been planted. You are not desiring something that doesn't exist. You are remembering something that's already yours. The desire itself is the proof that it belongs to you. It would not call you unless it was possible. It would not stir your heart unless the way was already prepared. In fact, the very fact that you can imagine it, feel it, and see it in your mind is evidence that it has already been created for you in the spiritual realm. It waits only for your assumption, your belief, your inner alignment. Too often people treat desire as distance. They say, "I want it, but I don't have it." They make the desire something separate from themselves, and in doing so they delay its arrival. But the truth is the opposite. When a desire emerges, It means the fulfillment is already at hand. The opportunity is already knocking. The path is already unfolding. The only question is, will you say yes to it within yourself? When you accept the desire as done, when you feel the wish fulfilled, when you embody the reality of already having it, you align yourself with the version of you who already lives it. And once you dwell in that state, your world must change to reflect it. The seed that was planted takes root. You do not have to force it to grow. You simply nurture it by staying faithful to the vision. Desire is not to be doubted. It is to be honored. It is not something to fear or suppress. It is the most personal communication between your deeper self and your waking self. When you deny a desire, you deny your own expansion. When you doubt it, you delay your own unfolding. But when you embrace it, when you say, "This is mine," you move into harmony with your higher self and the life already prepared for you. You don't need to figure out how it will happen. You don't need to make it logical or convince others. The how is never your concern. Your only task is to feel it real, to accept that what you have seen in your imagination is not fiction. It is a preview. It is a spiritual fact awaiting physical expression. The seed is planted the moment the vision is accepted, and once planted it must grow, if not interfered with by doubt or fear. Stay loyal to your desires. Speak as though it's done. Walk as if it's here. Let it live in you. The moment you felt it deeply was the moment it became real. All you need to do now is remain faithful to what is already yours. You are not here to wish, wait, or chase. You are here to assume, to know, to feel. The secret is not in striving toward your desire as if it is something distant and far away. The secret is in living from it as if it were already yours. This shift from hoping it will come to knowing it has come creates the space for the invisible to become visible. You do not need to force your way to the outcome. You need only to dwell in the state of already being the one who has it. This is what it means to live from the end. It means seeing the world through the eyes of your fulfilled desire, thinking, acting, feeling, and walking as the person who has already received what they once longed for. You are not trying to become, you are already that. And from that state, life begins to arrange itself. Doors open, opportunities arise, people and events appear, not by chance, but because you are now aligned with the version of yourself where the desire is a fact, not a hope. When you live toward the end, you are always in a state of waiting. You delay your good by saying it will happen someday, but someday never arrives. You keep the desire on a pedestal, just out of reach. This creates separation between you and your goal. But when you live from the end, you bring the desire into the present moment. You dissolve the separation, you collapse time. The key is not in outer action, it is in inner acceptance. Feel the reality of your wish fulfilled. Let it be so vivid that your inner world becomes more real than what your senses currently report. The senses will try to tell you it's not here, but your imagination knows better. The world is slow to catch up, but it must catch up. Once the state is accepted, the bridges of events will form naturally to carry you there. These bridges are not something you need to figure out. They appear as everyday situations, conversations, decisions, seemingly small things that move you directly to your desire. You will look back in awe at how seamlessly it all unfolded. But in the moment, your job is not to chase the how. Your job is to remain in the feeling of the end, to mentally and emotionally occupy the state where it is already done. This is not pretending, it is not make-believe, it is spiritual law. Your inner world is the root, the outer is the fruit. All creation begins within. You cannot expect the fruit of a thing to appear before the root is planted and nurtured. And the nurturing is done by dwelling in the state of the wish fulfilled, consistently, quietly, faithfully. So go within, find the feeling, ask yourself, what would I feel right now if it were already true? And then feel that, live that, let that be your dwelling place. From there, everything begins to move. You do not need to fight for your desire. It is already done. You only need to be the one who has received it, and the world will follow your lead. Nothing in the physical world leads your transformation. The signs you long to see, the breakthroughs, the answers, the open doors do not appear first to convince you. They follow. They arrive after the shift has occurred within you. This is why waiting for a sign before believing is a delay. The outer world is never the starting point. The moment you see this message is not a coincidence. It is confirmation. Something inside you has already changed. The signal was sent, the prayer was accepted. Now the evidence must come, not to persuade you, but because you have already moved into a new state of being. The world you see is a mirror, not a master. It does not instruct your belief, it reflects it. When you change your state of consciousness, your dominant feeling, your quiet assumption, your inner knowing, the reflection must change as well. But it happens after. Just as your image in the mirror does not smile until you smile, your life does not reveal the sign until you become the person who no longer needs it to believe. This is the great reversal of how most people live. They wait, they look to the outside world and say, I'll believe it when I see it, but that belief system holds everything at arm's length. It keeps you in the state of longing, and longing is not fulfillment, longing is absence. But the moment you shift into the state of having, truly feeling, thinking, and knowing that it is already yours, the world begins to organize itself to reflect that inner truth. The signs follow, they must. When you realize this, you stop looking for confirmation outside yourself. You stop scanning your environment for clues that it's working. Instead, you rest in the deep knowing that it is done. You understand that your inner shift is the only real cause, and the outer must obediently follow its lead. This is not blind faith, it is law. So when you come across a message like this, seemingly at random, no, it is not random at all. You were drawn to it because your inner man already made a decision. You chose a new version of yourself. You began walking in a new assumption. You may not have said it aloud, but something in you rose up and declared, I am ready. That readiness is a shift. That shift is the cause. And now the signs must follow. Don't go searching for evidence, let it come. Don't force the fruit to appear. Trust that it is ripening. The sign will arrive at the appointed hour. Not to convince you, but to celebrate with you. To confirm what your spirit already accepted as true. And you will recognize it when it comes, because you will no longer feel surprised. You will feel peace. It won't feel like a miracle. It will feel natural. That's the power of inner transformation. It turns your desire from a hope into a fact, and from that moment the outer must respond. So stay faithful, stay inwardly loyal to your vision. You do not need a sign to believe. Belief is the sign, and everything else, every result, every opportunity, every blessing follows behind it exactly as it should. You were never waiting for a sign. You were the sign. The moment you felt the desire, the shift had already begun. The outer world is simply catching up to the truth you've dared to accept within. You are not separate from your dream. You are not chasing it. You are it. The end you seek lives within you, and the moment you live from it, not toward it, the bridges of life unfold naturally beneath your feet. You are the operant power. Everything you seek is seeking you, because it already exists within you. Your imagination is not a fantasy. It is the first stage of creation. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you dwell in that state with persistence, the world has no choice but to conform. Signs follow, results appear, doors open. Because you no longer live in doubt, you live in fulfillment. So stand firm, not in effort, but in inner certainty. Remain faithful to the unseen, and watch how naturally life moves to meet you where you already are in consciousness. Saying thanks. Thank you for receiving these words with an open heart. May they remind you of who you truly are and all that is already yours. The shift has begun. Walk in it boldly. You have been conditioned to believe that effort, struggle, and worry are the only paths to success. But what if I told you that the very act of striving is what keeps you from receiving? You were never meant to beg for what is already yours. The moment you desire something, it is done. It is already created in the unseen. Your only task is to align with it, to assume the feeling of already having it, and to trust the process. Look at nature. The sun does not struggle to rise. The river does not force itself to flow. The tree does not worry if it will bear fruit. They simply exist in harmony with the unseen intelligence that governs all things. You are no different. So why do you fight? Why do you doubt? Do you not see that the very act of worrying is an affirmation that you do not believe? And if you do not believe, how can it come to pass? Relax. Let go of the need to control every step. The moment you release resistance, the unseen forces move on your behalf. The universe is not working against you. It is responding to you. If you assume lack, lack is what you will see. If you assume struggle, struggle is what will persist. But if you assume that it is already done, that all is well, the world will shift to confirm your assumption. Do not ask how, do not ask when. That is not your concern. The seed does not question how it will become a tree, it simply trusts the unseen forces of nature. Be still, feel it as done, and watch as the universe works for you. The world you experience is not separate from you. It is a reflection of the assumptions you hold in the depths of your being. Everything you see, every event that unfolds, and every encounter you have is shaped by the inner world of your imagination. You may believe that circumstances happen to you, that life is an external force moving beyond your control, but this is an illusion. In truth, everything originates within. Consider for a moment that every belief you hold, every assumption you entertain with conviction, is the seed of a future reality. What you accept as true in your mind, whether consciously or unconsciously, takes root and eventually expresses itself in the world. You do not need to force it, nor do you need to concern yourself with how it will come to pass. The process is automatic, as natural as the rising of the sun or the growth of a flower from a seed. If you wish to understand why your life unfolds the way it does, look no further than your dominant thoughts and assumptions. Are you constantly dwelling in the idea of lack, failure, and struggle? If so, your external world will reflect these states back to you with unwavering accuracy. But if you choose to assume abundance, success, and ease, life must conform to these ideas just as faithfully. The world is a mirror, and it cannot reflect anything but the image you hold within. The power of imagination is not mere fantasy. It is the creative force of reality itself. Every great invention, every piece of art, every achievement first existed in the mind before it became visible. The same principle applies to your own life. What you persistently imagine, with feeling and conviction, must take shape in your experience. Doubt, fear, and worry are the great disruptors of this process. When you question whether your desires will manifest, when you look to the external world for proof instead of trusting your inner vision, you delay the very thing you seek. It is not enough to wish or hope. You must know. You must assume, with unwavering faith, that what you desire is already yours. Think of a dream you once had, something you longed for that eventually became a reality. At some point, you either consciously or unconsciously assumed it was possible, even inevitable. You may not have realized it then, but you had aligned yourself with that outcome, and life arranged itself to fulfill it. Now, imagine applying that same principle deliberately. If you want a new reality, you must first construct it in your imagination, not as something distant or unattainable, but as something already present. See yourself as the person you wish to become. Feel the emotions of already having what you seek. Walk in the certainty that it is done, even when physical evidence has not yet appeared. The moment you accept it as truth within, the process of manifestation begins. There is no force outside of you that determines your fate. No external power holds authority over your life. You are the creator, whether you realize it or not. And the world you move through is nothing more than a reflection of your deepest convictions. If you wish to change your reality, change what you assume to be true. Release the need to control the details. Do not concern yourself with how things will unfold. The mechanism of creation is not yours to manage, it is yours to trust. Simply hold firm to the assumption of your desired reality, persist in the feeling of already having it, and allow the unseen forces to work on your behalf. It may seem too simple, but this is the great secret of life. Those who understand it move through the world with ease, knowing that everything they seek is already within them. Those who doubt remain trapped in a cycle of struggle, believing themselves at the mercy of circumstances. Choose then to assume the best. Let your imagination create the reality you truly desire. For what you believe with conviction, what you persist in imagining will harden into fact. It is law, and it cannot fail. Desperation is the great repellent of all that you seek. It signals lack, fear, and disbelief, and in doing so it pushes away the very things you desire. When you chase after something, whether it be love, success, wealth, or recognition, you are unknowingly affirming that you do not have it. Your pursuit is not one of confidence, but of scarcity, and scarcity only breeds more of itself. The more you reach outward, the further your desires seem to move away, like a shadow that lengthens when chased, but disappears when ignored. When you desire something deeply, it is natural to want to take action, to force the result into being. But this is where most falter. They mistake force for power and effort for creation. The truth is, desperation is an act of disbelief. It is the unspoken statement that what you want is separate from you, that it exists somewhere beyond your reach, and that you must struggle to obtain it. This very mindset ensures that your desire remains just out of grasp, because the external world is only reflecting your internal state. If you believe you are lacking, then lack is what you will continue to experience. Faith, on the other hand, is the great attractor. To trust completely is to know that what you seek is already yours, that it is not something to be gained, but something to be revealed. When you have faith, you no longer feel the need to chase, because you understand that there is nothing to chase. You operate from a place of certainty, and in that certainty, your desire is free to flow toward you effortlessly. Consider the nature of a magnet. It does not run after metal, nor does it plead for it to come near. It simply exists in a state of alignment, and by doing so, it effortlessly draws what belongs to it. You must become the same. When you embody the state of already having, already being, already knowing, all that you desire comes toward you with ease. There is no struggle, no force, only alignment. Those who succeed in life are not the ones who grasp and cling, but the ones who trust. They move with an air of calm assurance, as if they already possess the thing they desire, and in time the world rearranges itself to make that assumption true. They do not check and recheck for signs, nor do they allow doubt to take root. They understand that just as a planted seed does not need to be dug up daily to see if it is growing, Their desire does not need constant worry to manifest. Imagine for a moment that what you want most is already done. How would you feel? How would you move through life? Would you be anxious or would you be at peace? Would you seek reassurance or would you rest in the knowing? The answer is clear. When you believe something is truly yours, you do not stress over it. You do not question when it will arrive or how it will come. You simply expect it. And in that expectation, it must appear. This is the difference between those who struggle and those who receive effortlessly. It is not luck, nor is it external privilege. It is a state of mind. The ones who trust are the ones who receive, for their trust signals to the universe that they are already in possession of their desire. The ones who doubt and chase push their desire away, affirming with every moment of worry that it is still absent. To shift from desperation to faith is to shift from struggle to ease, from delay to fulfillment. The moment you let go of the need to control, the moment you surrender the worry and trust completely, everything you desire begins to move toward you. It has no choice. The law is certain and it does not fail. So release the chase. Let go of the grasping. Move as if it is already done and watch as life bends to meet your assumption. For faith is the key that unlocks all doors, while desperation only keeps them closed. To live in the end is to assume without doubt that what you desire is already yours. It is to move through life with the inner knowing that what you have imagined has already been accomplished, even before any external evidence appears. This is the great secret to creation. The realization that reality is not shaped by circumstances, but by your assumptions about them. When you embody the state of already having, the world has no choice but to reflect that reality back to you. Most people live in a state of waiting. They wait for signs, for proof, for permission from the external world, before they allow themselves to believe. They tell themselves, when I have the money, then I will feel abundant. When I find love, then I will feel complete. When I succeed, then I will feel confident. But they have it backward. The outer world is only a mirror reflecting the inner state. If you wait for external proof before changing within, you will wait forever. Instead, you must first be what you wish to see, and only then will reality conform. Imagine an actor preparing for a role. He does not wait until he is on stage to embody the character. He becomes the character long before the audience sees him. He walks, speaks, and thinks as the character until there is no distinction between the two. You must do the same. Assume the state of already being the person you wish to become. If wealth is what you seek, embody the feeling of wealth now, even if your bank account says otherwise. If love is your desire, assume the feeling of already being loved without waiting for another person to provide it. The feeling itself is the secret, the cause of all external changes. Living in the end does not mean ignoring reality. It means choosing not to be bound by it. The world you see today is simply a reflection of your past assumptions, but it has no power over what comes next. If you continue to react to what already exists, you only perpetuate it. But if you shift your inner state, if you assume and persist in the feeling of already having, you set a new cause in motion, and in time the effect must follow. Doubt is the greatest enemy of this process. The mind wants to analyze, to question, to search for evidence. But faith does not require proof. It creates proof. The moment you say, I will believe it when I see it, you have already defeated yourself. Instead, say, I believe it now, and I will see it because of that belief. Hold firm to the assumption even when nothing seems to change. Reality takes time to rearrange itself. Just as a planted seed takes time to sprout. You do not dig up a seed daily to check if it is growing. You trust that it will. The same is true for your desires. The world has no power over you unless you give it power. If you look to external circumstances for validation, you surrender your ability to create. But when you choose to live in the end, to fully embody the feeling of already having, your world must shift to align with that state. You are not a victim of life. You are its architect. And the blueprint is written in the assumptions you hold. It is not a matter of if your desire will manifest. It is a matter of whether you will persist in the feeling of already having it. The only thing that can delay it is your own doubt, your own decision to believe in what is rather than what can be. But if you persist, if you refuse to waver, if you walk each day as if your wish were already fulfilled, then fulfillment is inevitable. Choose now to step into the reality you desire. Assume it, feel it, live in it. Do not wait for the world to confirm it. You must confirm it within yourself first. And when you do, the world will follow, for it has no choice but to reflect what you've already accepted as true. Time is nothing more than a construct of the mind. It appears to move forward in a linear fashion, but in truth, all possibilities already exist. What you desire is not something you must earn, chase, or wait for. It is already yours. The only thing that separates you from it is your assumption that it lies somewhere in the future, rather than in your present reality. The moment you accept it as done, time bends to bring it into your experience. Most people believe that manifestation takes time, that there is a long road between wanting something and receiving it. But this belief itself is the barrier. When you assume that your desire is distant, you unknowingly place it out of reach. You reinforce the illusion of separation, and so the world continues to reflect that gap. You must understand that the delay is not real. It is a result of your own assumption. The moment you shift your perception, the timeline collapses, and what you seek moves toward you. Think of a radio. The frequencies of all stations exist simultaneously, but you can only experience the one to which you are tuned. If you want to hear a different station, you do not need to create it. It already exists. You simply shift the dial. The same is true for your desires. You do not need to force them into being. They already exist in the infinite possibilities of creation. The only thing required is for you to align with the frequency of already having them. This alignment is not an act of effort. It is an act of knowing. You must train yourself to feel, think, and act as if your desire has already materialized. The world will resist at first, appearing unchanged, but this is only an echo of past assumptions. Do not let it deceive you. Hold to your new reality, and in time, the external world will conform. Many people give up because they expect instant gratification. They look for immediate proof, and when they do not see it, they revert to doubt. But this is like planting a seed and digging it up each day to check if it is growing. The process is invisible at first, but that does not mean it is not happening. The moment you accept something is done, it is done. Time simply rearranges itself to make it visible. Consider those moments in life when things seem to happen instantly. Perhaps you thought of a person and they called you within minutes. Perhaps you desperately searched for a solution to a problem, only to find that the answer appeared effortlessly when you stopped worrying. These moments are not coincidences. They are glimpses of the truth. Time does not dictate when things happen. Your assumption does. If you believe that you must wait years for success, then years will pass before it arrives. If you believe that love takes time to find, then time will stretch out before you. But if you accept in this very moment that what you seek is already yours, then time has no choice but to adjust. It will move in the most direct way possible to reflect your new assumption. So let go of waiting. Stop imagining your desire as something that will happen someday. Live in the awareness that it has already happened. If you had your desire right now, how would you feel? How would you carry yourself? What thoughts would fill your mind? Embody that state completely, and reality will have no choice but to make it visible. The truth is simple. Time is an illusion. It is not something you must fight against. It is something that bends to your assumption. The moment you claim your desire as already fulfilled, you step out of the illusion of waiting and into the reality of having. And once you do that, the world must follow. Silence holds a power that few understand. In a world filled with noise, opinions, and constant external validation, silence is a rare and often overlooked force. Yet it is within silence that true creation happens. The unseen forces of the universe do not announce their movements, nor do they seek approval. They work quietly, reshaping reality in response to your inner state. When you learn to detach from external noise, when you stop seeking validation, and when you dwell in the stillness of knowing, you tap into an immeasurable power, the power to shape your world from within. Most people are consumed by the need to speak, explain, and prove themselves to others. They believe that their desires must be justified, that their dreams must be shared, and that their progress must be seen. But this endless engagement with the external world drains energy and weakens their creative ability. When you constantly talk about what you want, when you look to others for approval, you are giving away your power. You are placing your creation in the hands of the outside world, instead of keeping it protected in the sacred space of your mind. True power is silent. It does not need to be announced. It simply is. The most profound transformations happen in silence. Consider a seed buried in the soil. It does not make a sound as it breaks open and begins to grow. The roots extend, the stem pushes upward, and eventually it emerges into the light, all without noise. The same is true of your manifestations. The moment you plant the seed of a desire in your imagination, the universe begins working. But if you keep digging it up, if you keep exposing it to outside voices and doubt, you interfere with the process. Teaching from external noise does not mean isolation. It means discernment. It means understanding that the opinions of others hold no power over you unless you allow them to. It means recognizing that your reality is not shaped by what the world says, but by what you accept as true within yourself. There is a reason why the most powerful figures in history often moved in silence. They did not waste energy explaining themselves or seeking permission. They knew that real change happens within first, and only afterward does the world reflect it. Many people struggle with silence because they fear it. They believe that if they are not constantly doing something, talking about their goals, or seeking confirmation, nothing is happening. But this is an illusion. Silence is not inactivity, it is alignment. When you detach from external noise, you give space for the unseen forces to work. You allow things to unfold without resistance. You let the energy of your desire take form without interruption. The key to mastering silence is trust. You must trust that once you have imagined your desire as real, the process has already begun. There is no need to talk about it. There is no need to convince others. There is only the need to know, and knowing requires no words. It requires no validation. It is simply a quiet, unshakable certainty that what you have assumed will become visible in due time. Stillness is the space where creation happens. It is the moment before dawn when the world is quietest. It is the deep ocean beneath the waves, unaffected by the storms above. It is the space between thoughts where inspiration arises. When you dwell in stillness, you become a conduit for divine intelligence, a vessel through which the universe manifests its will. So step away from the noise. Stop explaining. Stop announcing your every move. Stop looking for validation in the external world. Instead, retreat into the silence of your knowing. Let your actions, your energy, and your unwavering belief do the speaking for you. In time, the world will take notice, not because you sought its attention, but because your inner power became undeniable. And when that happens, it will not be because you shouted your dreams into existence. It will be because you cultivated them in silence. There is a natural order to all things, a rhythm that governs the unfolding of life. The same intelligence that causes the sun to rise, the tides to move, and the seasons to change is at work in your life, orchestrating events with perfect precision. Your desires, once imagined and felt as real, are like seeds planted in fertile soil. They do not need your constant interference to grow. They do not need to be pushed, forced, or doubted into existence. Instead, they require trust, patience, and most importantly, the ability to let go and allow them to manifest in their own perfect time. Many struggle with this simple truth. They believe that the more effort they exert, the faster their desires will materialize. They watch anxiously for signs, constantly question the process, and attempt to control every detail of how things unfold. But just as a seed does not need to be dug up each day to check its progress, your manifestations do not need constant monitoring. In fact, the more you try to control the outcome, the more resistance you create. The energy of doubt, impatience, and desperation only serves to block what is already set in motion. Letting go does not mean giving up. It does not mean abandoning your desire or ceasing to care about it. Rather, it means releasing attachment to the how and when of its manifestation. It means trusting that once the intention is set, the unseen forces of the universe begin arranging all necessary conditions for its fulfillment. Your only role is to remain in a state of quiet confidence, knowing that what you have asked for is on its way. Consider the way nature operates. A tree does not struggle to grow, it simply expands effortlessly toward the light. The rivers do not force their flow, they move naturally, carving their path in perfect harmony with the land. The flowers do not demand to bloom, they open when the conditions are right. In the same way, your desires will manifest effortlessly when you surrender to the natural order of things, when you release them into the hands of the intelligence that governs all. The mind resists this truth. It wants control. It wants to micromanage every step, fearing that if it does not take charge, nothing will happen. But this fear is an illusion. Your conscious mind does not need to dictate every detail. Your higher awareness, the unseen creative force within you, knows exactly how to bring about the perfect outcome. When you let go, you make space for miracles. You allow the unseen to work in ways that you could never orchestrate on your own. Think of moments in your life when things seem to fall into place effortlessly. Perhaps an opportunity arrived at just the right time. Perhaps a long-lost friend appeared when you needed them most. Perhaps a solution to a problem presented itself the moment you stopped obsessing over it. These are glimpses of the power of surrender, proof that when you remove resistance, life moves in your favor. Letting go is an act of faith. It requires you to step back and allow the process to unfold without interference. It is the art of knowing that your desire is already yours, even if you cannot yet see it. It is the ability to move forward with ease, unshaken by appearances, because you trust the unseen forces at work. When you truly release your desire into the hands of the infinite intelligence, you no longer feel the need to question, worry, or force outcome. You simply rest in the assurance that all is working out as it should. So let go, let it be. Release the need to control and watch as life moves effortlessly in your favor. Just as the seed grows without your interference, so too will your desires manifest when you allow them the space to bloom. Trust in the unseen, surrender to the process, and you will come to see that what is meant for you can never be withheld. When you relax, trust, and allow the universe to work for you, you align yourself with the effortless flow of creation. Your imagination shapes reality, faith attracts what you seek, and living in the end allows your desires to materialize. Time is merely a tool that rearranges itself to bring you what is already yours. Silence holds immense power, guiding unseen forces to work in your favor. And above all, letting go is the final step, the surrender that allows your desires to manifest without resistance. The universe operates with precision, responding to the assumptions and beliefs you hold within. There is no need to force, beg, or struggle. Your only task is to trust, embody the feeling of already having, and let life unfold as it should. When you truly understand this, you step into a reality where miracles are natural, where desires manifest with ease, and where you no longer chase because you know it is already done. Thank you for allowing these words to remind you of your power. Trust the process, remain still in your knowing, and watch as the universe delivers all that is meant for you. Close your eyes for a moment and ask yourself, what does the millionaire version of me look like? How do they move, think, and feel? You must become that version now, not tomorrow, not someday, but right now. The secret to wealth is not found in effort, struggle, or luck. It is found in the state of being. Right now, you are holding an idea of yourself, whether rich or poor, successful or struggling. And the world is only mirroring that idea. If you want wealth, you must embody wealth first. A millionaire does not wish for wealth, they live from it. They are not concerned with lack, nor do they chase money. Instead, they carry an air of certainty, moving through the world with confidence. They expect abundance. They are comfortable making bold decisions. They do not doubt themselves. If you act as though you are still waiting for riches, you will always remain in that state of waiting. But when you assume the feeling of already having it, when you walk as though the world is already bending to your success, you shift into that reality. Do not let your current circumstances deceive you. If your bank account is empty, do not react with fear, respond with faith. If opportunities seem scarce, see them as already yours. When you enter the state of certainty, the world has no choice but to yield. You must become a vibrational match to wealth. Speak, move, and think like the version of you that already has millions. Take actions with faith, not fear. Carry yourself with the knowing that you are already financially free. Be grateful now. Gratitude is not something you reserve for when the money arrives. It is the proof that you have received it in consciousness, and what is real in consciousness must become real in form. Wealth is not outside of you, it is within you. Step into the reality of riches today and watch as the world rearranges itself to reflect the truth you now live. Everything you need to become a millionaire already exists within your imagination. The mind is not merely a place for thoughts to come and go. It is the origin of all creation. Every skyscraper, every thriving business, every innovation that reshaped the world first existed as a thought, a vision in someone's mind before it became tangible. The mistake most people make is believing that wealth is something external, something to be pursued, when in truth it is a state of being that first takes root within before it manifests without. You are not separate from the wealth you desire, the money, the luxury, the success. It is not some distant reality you must struggle to reach. It is already within you, waiting to be expressed. The only reason you do not see it now is because your mind has been conditioned to accept limitation, scarcity, and lack as normal. But what is normal is only what you have been taught to believe. Look around at the life you currently live. Every aspect of it, from your financial situation to your relationships, is a mirror reflecting the dominant state of your mind. If you consistently think in terms of lack, worrying about money, fearing bills, believing wealth is reserved for a select few, then life will continue to show you proof of that assumption. But the moment you shift your focus, the moment you begin to assume the mindset of wealth, the world will reshape itself to match that new belief. Wealth does not begin in a bank account, it begins in the consciousness of the individual. A millionaire is not someone who merely has money. A millionaire is someone who knows themselves to be abundant, regardless of the numbers they currently see. They do not dwell in fear of loss, nor do they hesitate in their actions. They carry themselves with the certainty that money flows to them naturally, that opportunities arise effortlessly, that the world bends to their vision, and because they hold this state, life confirms it. Your mind is a factory of wealth, constantly producing outcomes based on the raw material you feed it, your thoughts. If you think small, you create small results. If you think in terms of expansion, possibility, and certainty, you generate limitless returns. The question is, what are you feeding your mind? Do you begin your day imagining obstacles, or do you see doors opening before you? Do you see money as something scarce, something difficult to obtain, or do you view it as an ever-flowing energy that naturally gravitates toward you? The answer to these questions determines your experience. Many people fall into the trap of reacting to their current circumstances rather than assuming control over their reality. If they see a low bank balance, they feel anxious. If they receive a bill, they panic. But a person who understands the power of the mind does not react, they create. Instead of reinforcing the illusion of scarcity, they close their eyes and see themselves as wealthy, secure, and free. They walk in the world as though it has already been done. They do not wait for their reality to change before they feel different. They feel different first, and their reality follows. This is not wishful thinking. This is how the law of life operates. What you hold consistently in your mind must externalize in your world. If you want to see wealth, you must first become wealthy in thought. Not just once, not just when you feel inspired, but as a way of life. Hesitation and fear are the only things standing between you and the millionaire version of yourself. The moment you decide to shift your focus, to reject every idea of limitation and instead persistently dwell in the feeling of abundance, you activate the forces that shape reality. Money will come, opportunities will present themselves, but it will not be by accident. It will be because you have commanded it through your state of being. If your mind is the factory of wealth, then you must become its masterful architect. Construct the thoughts that align with riches, abundance, and ease. Live in the certainty that what you imagine is already yours. And as you persist, the world will have no choice but to reflect your new reality. Wealth does not come first, the feeling of wealth does. Most people make the mistake of believing they must first see evidence of success before they can feel successful. They wait for the money to arrive, the opportunities to unfold, or the circumstances to shift before they allow themselves to feel rich. But this is an illusion, a backward approach to life. Reality does not create your state of being creates reality. Look at the world around you. Every object, every invention, every great fortune ever built first existed in an unseen realm, the mind. The same is true for your own wealth. If you want to become a millionaire, you must first become it internally. You must feel it before you see it. You must assume the mood, attitude, and certainty of someone who already possesses everything they desire. This is not pretense or self-deception. This is how life works. You are constantly projecting an inner state onto the world, and the world mirrors it back to you. If you feel lack, if you feel desperate for more, you are affirming to life that you do not have enough. And so it continues to give you the experience of needing, of chasing, of never quite reaching. But when you shift your focus, when you step into the state of already having, everything changes. The world does not respond to empty effort, it responds to certainty. Think of a person who is truly wealthy. They do not panic over bills. They do not hesitate when making decisions. They carry themselves with an inner security and effortless confidence that they belong to the realm of abundance. And because they feel it, the world continues to give them reasons to confirm it. Ask yourself, how would I think, act, and feel if I were already a millionaire? Would you worry about small expenses? Would you feel anxious about the future? Or would you move through life with ease, knowing that wealth is simply a natural part of your experience? The key is to embody that state now, regardless of what your current circumstances show you. If your bank account is low, do not react with fear. Instead, shift into the feeling of abundance. Carry yourself as though financial security is already yours. Speak as if money flows effortlessly to you. Make decisions with the confidence of someone who knows their success is inevitable. The moment you do this, the world begins to shift. Opportunities you never noticed before will appear. The right people will come into your life. Inspired ideas will emerge, leading you exactly where you need to be. But none of this can happen if you are waiting for proof before you believe. Belief must come first. Many will argue, how can I feel rich when I am struggling? How can I act as if I already have wealth when my reality says otherwise? But this is precisely the test. The ones who understand this truth, who persist in the feeling of already having, no matter what their eyes see, are the ones who rise. The ones who continue to dwell in lack, waiting for circumstances to change before they shift their mindset, remain stuck in the cycle of struggle. Your inner world is the blueprint for your outer world. Just as an architect must first envision the design before the building appears, you must first hold the feeling of wealth before it materializes. This is not about reckless spending or pretending to be someone you are not. It is about stepping into the knowing that your wealth is already real, already done, and allowing life to bring it into form. Doubt and impatience are the only things that delay your manifestation. If you check constantly for proof, wondering why nothing has changed yet, you are reinforcing the very lack you wish to escape. Instead, persist in the feeling. Let it become your natural state. When you walk, when you speak, when you make choices, do so from the identity of the millionaire version of you. And then, as surely as the sun rises, the world will conform. The wealth you once sought will begin seeking you. You are not separate from the wealth you desire. It is not something outside of you, something to chase or hope for. It is already a part of you waiting to be expressed. But for it to manifest, you must first embody the role completely. The version of you that is wealthy, the version that has already achieved everything you desire, moves, speaks, and thinks in a way that is entirely different from the person who still feels stuck in limitation. Look at the way truly wealthy individuals carry themselves. They do not hesitate. They do not second-guess their worth. They do not allow doubt to dictate their actions. They know who they are. They know that wealth is their natural state, and because of this, their reality continuously reflects abundance back to them. Now ask yourself, what if you began to live this way today? Most people believe they must wait for success before they act successful. They believe they must see proof of wealth before they carry themselves as someone who is rich. But this is precisely why they remain stuck. Reality does not create your state of being. Your state of being creates reality. If you continue to walk, talk, and think as someone who is struggling, then struggle will remain your experience. But if you begin now, if you adopt the posture, the speech, the decisions of the wealthy version of you, then life has no choice but to rearrange itself accordingly. This is not about pretense. It is not about empty arrogance or reckless spending. It is about aligning your entire being with the identity of wealth. When you walk into a room, do so with the presence of someone who belongs in spaces of prosperity. When you make decisions, do so from a place of certainty, not fear. When you speak about money, do so with the confidence of someone who knows it flows easily, not someone who constantly worries about where it will come from next. The shift begins in small, everyday moments. If you were already a millionaire, how would you handle setbacks? Would you react with panic and frustration, or would you maintain composure, knowing that no obstacle is greater than your ability to overcome it? If you were already wealthy, how would you approach opportunities? Would you hesitate, doubting whether you are capable, or would you step forward with boldness and trust in your own power? It is in these small choices that your reality is rewritten. Every time you choose to embody wealth rather than lack, you are reprogramming your subconscious mind to accept abundance as your truth. And as you continue to operate from this new state, your external world will shift to match it. Think of the actors who fully commit to a role. The most powerful performances come from those who immerse themselves so deeply in the character that they begin to think and feel as that person would. Their body language changes, their speech patterns shift, their very essence transformed. And for the duration of that role, they become that person. You must do the same. But unlike an actor, this is not a temporary performance. This is the unveiling of your true self. The you that has always been wealthy, always been successful, always been powerful. The only thing keeping you from experiencing it is the identity you are currently choosing to wear. If you wish to be rich, think, feel, and act as someone who is already rich. Do not wait for the external proof. The moment you assume the role fully, reality will conform. The opportunities, the connections, the money, it will all begin to flow to you with ease. But it begins with you. It begins with your decision to embody wealth now. Most people spend their lives chasing what they desire. They run after money, opportunities, success, believing that if they work hard enough, push long enough, or prove themselves worthy, they will finally attain the wealth they seek. But the truth is, chasing only pushes what you desire further away. When you chase something, you affirm that it is not already yours. You create a state of longing, of needing, of lacking. And the more you focus on what you lack, the more the universe reflects that lack back to you. This is why desperation repels. It is an energy of scarcity, of not having, of striving without ever arriving. But there is another way. A way that is effortless, natural, and infinitely more powerful. You do not chase wealth. You attract it. Ask yourself, are you acting like a beggar, or are you carrying yourself as a king? The moment you stop chasing and start aligning, your entire experience shifts. Instead of longing for money, you step into the identity of someone who already possesses it. Instead of hoping for opportunities, you recognize that they are already yours, simply waiting for you to claim them. This is not arrogance. This is not wishful thinking. This is understanding how reality truly works. Everything you desire already exists. The version of you that is wealthy, successful, and financially free is not a distant dream. It is a present reality waiting for you to step into it. But you cannot reach it through force or desperation. You must become the person who naturally attracts that level of abundance. You must walk, talk, think, and feel as if it is already done. If you want money to flow into your life, you must first stop obsessing over not having it. Every time you worry, every time you stress, every time you feel like you need more, you are reinforcing the very lack you are trying to escape. But when you shift your focus, when you decide to embody the energy of wealth now, everything changes. Money flows to those who expect it, who feel at ease with it, who trust in its presence. Opportunities come to those who do not desperately seek them but know they are always in the right place at the right time. The right connections appear effortlessly when you stop trying to force relationships and instead become the kind of person that success naturally gravitates toward. This is the difference between chasing and attracting. Chasing says, I don't have it, but I need it. Attracting says, it is already mine and I am open to receiving it. Chasing is fear-based. It comes from a place of not having enough. It is rooted in doubt, uncertainty, and scarcity. Attraction is power-based. It comes from a deep inner knowing that you are already abundant, that everything you desire is already aligned with you, and that your only job is to step into that state fully. Stop running after wealth as if it is something outside of you. Instead, become the person who already has it. Feel it now. Live from it now. Let go of the struggle. Release the desperation. And trust that what is meant for you will come, not because you chased it, but because you aligned with it. Your present reality is nothing more than a reflection of your past thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. If you continue to react to it, you will remain trapped in the same cycle. This is why most people struggle to break free from financial lack. They look at their bank account, see little to nothing, and allow that to dictate their feelings, their mindset, and their next actions. But by doing so, they reinforce the very state they are trying to escape. If you truly wish to experience wealth, you must ignore the present and live in the end. You must mentally and emotionally step into the reality where you already have more than enough. You must assume the state of financial abundance so completely that it becomes your new foundation, your new truth, your new identity. Think about it. If a millionaire lost everything overnight, would they panic? No. Because their wealth is not just in their bank account, it is in their mind. They know how to generate abundance because they have lived in that state before. Their confidence, their decisions, and their actions all come from the assumption that wealth is their natural condition, and because of this, they will inevitably create it again. Imagine that you adopted this mindset today. Imagine that instead of reacting to your current financial situation, you began to embody the version of yourself that is already rich. How would you think? How would you feel? How would you move through the world? The key is persistence. The moment you begin to live in the end, reality will test you. Your external world will try to pull you back into old patterns of fear and doubt. You might look at your bank balance and feel the urge to worry. You might receive an unexpected bill and feel tempted to fall back into scarcity thinking. But this is where most people fail. They let the present dictate their future instead of holding firm to their vision. You must persist. No matter what you see in front of you, your inner reality must remain unshaken. When you refuse to react to lack, when you remain steadfast in the state of already having more than enough, the world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match your assumption. This is not about ignoring responsibilities or pretending that money doesn't matter. It is about refusing to let the present moment define what is possible for you. It is about shifting your focus from what is to what will be, to what already exists in the unseen, because everything you desire is already created in the invisible realm of imagination, waiting for you to claim it. If you knew with absolute certainty that millions were already yours, would you still worry? Would you still feel desperate? Or would you carry yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their wealth is inevitable? The secret is to feel that way now, to walk through life as though your financial success is already secure, to think, speak, and act in alignment with that truth. The more you dwell in the state of having, the faster reality will shift to reflect it. Most people delay their happiness, waiting for external proof before they allow themselves to believe in abundance. But the truth is, it works the other way around. You must believe first. You must feel it first. You must persistently dwell in the state of already having. And then, effortlessly, what you desire will materialize. Do not be distracted by what appears to be. Do not let today's circumstances convince you of limitations that do not truly exist. Your current reality is nothing but a fading echo of past thoughts. What matters is the reality you are choosing to embody right now. Ignore the present. Live in the end. See yourself as already wealthy, already successful, already free. And as you remain faithful to this state, the world will conform, and the wealth you seek will appear, not because you chased it, but because you finally accepted it as yours. Gratitude is the secret that seals your manifestation. It is the invisible yet powerful force that finalizes your assumption and allows it to take form in reality. When you express gratitude, not after receiving but before, you signal to the universe that what you desire is already yours. You confirm the unseen as fact, and in doing so you make it inevitable. Most people misunderstand gratitude. They see it as something to be felt only after their desires have been fulfilled, after the money is in their hands, after success has arrived, after the circumstances have changed. But this way of thinking keeps them trapped in the illusion of waiting, in the state of not having. They are still looking outward for proof before they allow themselves to believe. But manifestation does not work that way. You must believe first. You must feel first. And gratitude is the feeling of already having. Think about how you would feel if right now in this moment you were already a millionaire. Would you be anxious? Would you be doubting? Or would you be filled with appreciation, relief, and joy? That feeling, that deep sense of thankfulness for the wealth you now possess, is the very key that unlocks it. Gratitude aligns you with the frequency of already having. It shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from longing to fulfillment. And the more you remain in this state, the faster your external reality will adjust to reflect it. When you place an order at a restaurant, do you sit in doubt, wondering if your meal will ever arrive? No. You trust that it is being prepared, and you wait patiently knowing it will be brought to you. You might even begin to feel grateful in advance, anticipating the satisfaction of enjoying your meal. This is how manifestation works. The moment you assume that your desire is already on its way, you stop worrying, you stop doubting, you stop looking for signs of its arrival. Instead, you shift into gratitude because you know it is done. Gratitude is not just a passive feeling, it is an active force that accelerates manifestation. When you express thankfulness for your wealth before it physically appears, you are affirming its reality. You are closing the gap between imagination and experience, between the unseen and the seen. You are sealing the deal. Doubt and impatience, on the other hand, do the opposite. Every time you question, every time you feel frustrated that wealth hasn't shown up yet, you are delaying its arrival. You are unknowingly pushing it away by reinforcing the idea that it is still missing. But gratitude eliminates doubt. It dissolves impatience. It places you in the state of already having, which is the only state that can bring your desire into being. This is why some people seem to attract wealth effortlessly. They have mastered the art of gratitude. They do not wait for money to appear before they feel wealthy. They feel wealthy first, and the money follows. They do not hold gratitude hostage until their circumstances improve. They embody gratitude now. And in doing so, they summon the very things they are thankful for. How do you apply this in your own life? Start by shifting your focus. Each morning, before you even open your eyes, feel a deep sense of gratitude for the wealth that is already yours in the unseen. Speak words of thanks for the financial abundance flowing into your life, even if your bank account has yet to reflect it. Act as though the money is already there, and let the feeling of gratitude guide your thoughts, words, and action. As you go about your day, resist the temptation to react to appearances. If an unexpected expense arises, instead of slipping into worry, affirm your wealth with gratitude. Thank you for the endless financial blessings that always find their way to me. This unwavering thankfulness keeps you in the state of already having, and the universe has no choice but to align with your assumption. Gratitude is the final step. It is the seal that locks your manifestation in place. When you can truly feel thankful for your wealth before it arrives, you can be certain that it is already on its way. And as you persist in this state, wealth will not be something you hope for, it will be something you inevitably experience. Everything you desire, wealth, success, and abundance, already exists within you. Your mind is the factory of wealth, shaping reality through your dominant thoughts. When you feel it before you see it, when you embody the role completely, and when you stop chasing and start attracting, you align yourself with a version of you that is already rich. Reality will always reflect the state you persist in, so you must ignore the present and live in the end, holding firm to your vision no matter what appears before you. And above all, gratitude is the seal of manifestation. The moment you feel thankful for your wealth before it arrives, you confirm its existence in your world. You are no longer hoping, wishing, or waiting. You are knowing, assuming, and receiving. The truth is, you are not becoming wealthy, you already are. You are simply waking up to the reality that your abundance was always yours. And the more you assume it, the faster it appears. Step into this state now. Walk, think, and feel as the millionaire version of yourself today. Hold that assumption unwaveringly, and the world will shift to match it. Thank you for listening, and may you step boldly into the wealth and abundance that already belongs to you. There exists a power within you so vast, so limitless, that the moment you align with it, reality bends to your will. Not through struggle, not through force, but through the effortless art of assumption. Most people beg for what is already theirs. They plead, they wish, they hope, never realizing that the very act of longing affirms its absence. But the one who knows the truth speaks with certainty, and the world obeys. Today you will speak as the one who already has. You will declare what is yours, not as a request, but as a fact. Say these 4 lines with conviction, and watch as the unseen moves to make them real. It is done. You are not waiting, you are not asking, you are confirming. That which you desire is already a living reality in the unseen. I am one with my desire. There is no separation between you and what you want. It is not outside of you. You and your desire are already united. Everything is unfolding perfectly. There is no need to doubt or control the how. The unseen forces are aligning everything in your favor. I rest in the knowing that it is mine. No more chasing, no more worrying. You let go and trust, for what is truly yours can never be lost. When you speak these words, speak them as truth, not as a hope, not as a wish, but as a knowing. The moment you do, reality must conform. Your imagination is the foundation of your reality. Every experience, every event, and every encounter in your life is a direct reflection of the images and assumptions you consistently hold within your mind. What you perceive as the external world is not separate from you, but rather an outpicturing of the state of consciousness you dwell in. Change your inner world, and your outer world must follow. The unseen power of imagination governs everything, yet most people are unaware of its influence. They believe life happens to them, that circumstances are random, and that their struggles are the result of forces beyond their control. But this is the great illusion. The truth is, life is responding to your dominant thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. What you persistently entertain in your mind must eventually be expressed in the world around you. If you live in a state of fear, expecting the worst, life will mirror that expectation. If you assume yourself to be unlucky, unworthy, or incapable, the world will reflect those beliefs back to you, confirming them over and over. But just as easily, if you assume success, abundance, and joy, your world will reshape itself to make those assumptions real. The key is understanding that imagination is not something that merely exists in fleeting daydreams. It is the creative force behind all things. The house you live in, the clothes you wear, the relationships you have, everything first existed in someone's imagination before becoming physical. Nothing comes into existence without first being imagined. The same applies to your life. You must dare to assume the reality of what you desire before it appears. You must live in the feeling of it already being yours, for the world will always conform to the state of mind you occupy. Most people sabotage themselves by allowing their imagination to be dictated by their senses. They look at their current circumstances and assume that this is all there is. They allow the evidence of the present moment to determine what they believe is possible. But the one who understands the power of imagination does not fall into this trap. They refuse to be limited by what they see and instead persist in the unseen reality they have constructed in their mind. What you believe to be true, you will prove to be true. This is why people remain trapped in cycles of lack, struggle, and disappointment. They assume failure, they assume rejection, they assume difficulty, and life faithfully provides them with more of the same. The mind is like fertile soil, and whatever seeds you plant, whether good or bad, will grow. You must choose to plant only those ideas that align with the life you wish to experience. The moment you claim something in your imagination, it begins to take form. It may not appear immediately, but that does not mean it is not already unfolding. Many give up too soon, dismissing the unseen as unreal, when in truth, all creation happens first in the invisible realm before materializing. The wise do not look for immediate confirmation from the outside world. They rest in the knowing that what they have assumed will inevitably harden into fact. Your only responsibility is to remain faithful to the reality you have chosen within. No matter what your senses tell you, no matter what others say, you must persist. If you can see yourself living the life you desire, if you can feel it to be real, then it must become real. This is an unbreakable law. The world is not happening to you, it is happening through you. Dare to imagine boldly. Do not limit yourself based on what has been or what seems possible. The only limits that exist are the ones you accept. Assume the highest, believe in the unseen, and watch as your life transforms before your eyes. The only moment that holds power is now. Manifestation is not something that happens in the distant future. It is always unfolding in the present. Most people live in a state of waiting, believing that their desires will come true someday, but that day never arrives because they have placed their manifestation in a future that never exists. The future is only an extension of the now. If you do not assume it is already yours in this moment, you will continue to push it further away. Everything you seek is already here. It is not something outside of you that needs to be chased or acquired. The very act of wanting implies that you do not yet have it, and as long as you hold on to that feeling of separation, you reinforce its absence. The only way to bring what you desire into your experience is to claim it in the now, not as a hope, not as a wish, but as an undeniable fact. Speak it, feel it, and accept it as reality. When you do, the world must conform. Most people make the mistake of waiting for external confirmation before they believe. They want to see their desires materialize first, and only then will they feel secure in their assumption. But this is the opposite of how manifestation works. The external world is a reflection of the internal world, not the other way around. If you wait for circumstances to change before you change your mindset, you will wait forever. Instead, you must assume it is already done, and the world will rearrange itself to reflect that assumption. The present moment is not just where you are, it is where your power resides. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every word you speak is shaping your reality right now. You are never manifesting in the future, you are always manifesting in the present. The question is, what are you claiming in this moment? Are you affirming lack, doubt, and delay, or are you declaring that your desire is already yours? To shift your reality, you must step into the version of yourself that already has what you seek. Speak, think, and act as that person now. Do not wait for the evidence to appear, become it first. If you desire wealth, assume the feeling of financial freedom now. If you desire love, embody the energy of someone who is deeply cherished now. If you desire success, move through life as if you have already achieved it. This is not pretending. It is aligning with the truth that already exists in the unseen. There is no power in waiting. The more you delay, the more you reinforce that your desire is separate from you. The moment you say it is mine and truly believe it, the universe begins to move. It is not your job to figure out how it will happen. Your only responsibility is to remain faithful to the assumption that it is done. The means will reveal themselves. The right opportunities will arise, and the world will bend to your belief. Many people sabotage their manifestations by allowing doubt to creep in. They declare that their desire is already theirs, but then they check their current reality for signs, questioning if it is really working. The moment they entertain doubt, they undo the work they have done. You must stand firm, even when there is no physical evidence. Even when circumstances appear unchanged, you must persist in the knowing that it is already done. Time is an illusion. There is no waiting when you understand that creation happens in the now. The instant you shift your state of being, reality must adjust to match it. You do not need to force or chase anything. Simply assume, feel, and trust. When you live in the state of fulfillment now, the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. The universe does not respond to empty words or hollow affirmations. It responds to feeling. Feeling is the key that unlocks the door to manifestation, the invisible force that transforms thoughts into tangible reality. Words alone hold no power unless they are infused with belief and emotion. You may repeat affirmations endlessly, but if they lack conviction, they will produce no results. It is not the words themselves that shape reality, but the feeling behind them. Every thought you entertain carries a vibration, and that vibration is determined by the emotion it stirs within you. If you say, "I am wealthy," but internally feel lack, the universe does not hear your words. It hears your feeling of scarcity. It responds not to what you say, but to what you truly believe to be real. This is why so many struggle with manifestation. They speak of abundance while feeling poor. They affirm love while feeling sick. The dominant feeling always wins. Doubt is the greatest enemy of manifestation. It is the subtle feeling that contradicts your desire and prevents it from materializing. You may affirm that you are abundant, but if beneath your words lies a feeling of uncertainty, that doubt will override your affirmation. This is why blind repetition of affirmations is useless unless you internalize them as truth. Instead of merely saying the words, you must feel the reality they represent. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and allow yourself to experience the emotion of your desire already fulfilled. Let it move through you as if it were happening now. The imagination is a powerful tool for generating feeling. When you visualize yourself living in the reality you seek, immerse yourself in the experience. Do not observe it as something distant or separate from you. Step into it. Feel the textures, hear the sounds, see the details vividly. If you desire wealth, imagine yourself handling large sums of money, feeling the weight of it in your hands, experiencing the ease and confidence it brings. If you desire love, feel the warmth of companionship, the security of knowing you are deeply cherished. These feelings are the bridge between the unseen and the seen. What you persistently feel must harden into fact. There is no other possibility. Reality is not shaped by effort or struggle. It is shaped by the state of being you occupy. When you fully accept the feeling of your wish fulfilled, the world must conform to match it. This is not wishful thinking or mere positive thinking. It is an unshakable law. Do not wait for external validation. Do not look to your current circumstances for confirmation. The moment you feel it is real. The time delay between feeling and manifestation is only an illusion created by the physical world. If you persist in the feeling, reality has no choice but to follow. Live in the state of already having, and it will be yours. The universe does not grant wishes, it reflects your state of being. Feel it now, and it must come to pass. Faith is the foundation of all manifestation. It is the unwavering confidence that what you have declared is already yours, even when your senses suggest otherwise. Faith does not question, does not hope, does not waver, it simply knows. When you operate from this deep inner conviction, nothing can stand in the way of your manifestation. The only thing that delays your desire is doubt. Doubt weakens the bridge between your inner world and its external reflection. It creates resistance, forcing you to oscillate between belief and disbelief, between certainty and fear. Until doubt is removed, your manifestation remains suspended, waiting for you to fully claim it. Most people sabotage their manifestations because they mix faith with doubt. They affirm their desires, yet constantly look for proof in the physical world. The moment they do not see immediate results, they allow doubt to creep in. They question if it is working, they wonder if they are doing something wrong, they search for signs, and in doing so, they undo the very work they have set in motion. Faith does not seek validation from the external world. It does not need evidence to believe. Faith is the evidence. It stands firm in the knowing that what is unseen will inevitably be seen. Doubt is nothing more than a habit of the mind, a conditioned response based on past experiences and societal beliefs. It is not real unless you make it real. The moment you accept doubt as truth, you give it power. The mind is always creating, always shaping reality according to the dominant belief it holds. If your dominant belief is faith, your world will reflect certainty, progress, and fulfillment. If your dominant belief is doubt, your world will reflect confusion, stagnation, and delay. The choice is always yours. You do not need to struggle to have faith. You do not need to force belief. Faith is natural. It is already within you. Think about something as simple as the rising sun. You do not question whether it will appear each morning. You simply know it will. That same certainty must be applied to your manifestations. You must know that your desire is already yours, that it has been set in motion the moment you claimed it, and that nothing can prevent its fulfillment unless you allow doubt to intervene. The key to unwavering faith is persistence. The external world may present challenges. Your senses may try to deceive you, but none of it matters if you refuse to accept anything other than your desired outcome. You must see with the inner eye, beyond appearances, beyond logic, beyond circumstances. The world you see is only a reflection of past beliefs. It is not a fixed reality. The moment you shift your inner conviction, the outer world must follow. To strengthen faith, remove all hesitation from your words and thoughts. Speak as though your desire is already a fact. Do not say, "I hope it happens." Say, "It is done." Do not say, "Maybe it will come." Say, "It is already mine." This is not self-deception. This is the language of creation. When you speak with authority, the universe must respond accordingly. The energy of certainty carries far more power than the energy of wishful thinking. Doubt has no power of its own. It only has the power you give it. The moment you refuse to entertain it, it disappears. Every time you affirm your faith, you weaken doubt. Every time you persist despite appearances, you take another step toward realization. It is a mental discipline, a commitment to the unseen truth over the visible illusion. When you truly embody faith, the process becomes effortless. You no longer wonder when your desire will arrive, because you understand that it already exists. You no longer seek signs because you know the universe is already working on your behalf. You no longer feel the need to ask repeatedly because you recognize that one declaration, spoken with conviction, is enough. Stand firm in your knowing. Do not waver. Do not question. Do not allow the outside world to dictate what is possible for you. Faith is the only reality. When you hold it without compromise, manifestation is inevitable. The moment you declare what is yours, the universe begins to rearrange itself to bring it into form. But to allow this process to unfold, you must release it. Detachment is the final act of faith, the silent knowing that what you have asked for is already on its way. It is not your job to force, chase, or control how it comes. The more you try to manipulate the process, the more you introduce resistance, delaying what is already meant to be yours. True mastery in manifestation comes when you can ask, believe, and then let go. Many struggle with detachment because they do not trust the unseen forces at work. They feel the need to constantly check, worry, and question whether their desire is manifesting. This attachment to outcome stems from fear. Fear that it might not happen, fear that they are doing something wrong, fear that they are missing something. But fear is the opposite of faith. The moment you hold on to doubt, you disrupt the natural flow of manifestation. Imagine planting a seed in the soil. You do not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. You trust that nature is taking care of it. You water it, give it sunlight, and allow it the time it needs to bloom. The same principle applies to manifestation. The desire you have set forth is already growing beneath the surface. It does not need your constant interference. It needs your trust. Detachment is not indifference. It does not mean that you stop wanting what you desire. It means that you are so certain of its fulfillment that you no longer obsess over it. You no longer beg for it, worry about it, or wonder when it will arrive. You simply move forward, living as though it is already done, knowing that what is yours can never be denied. The paradox of manifestation is this: the more desperate you are for something, the more it eludes you. Why? Because desperation carries the energy of lack. When you chase, you affirm that it is not yet yours. When you worry, you declare uncertainty. When you force, you operate from a place of resistance. But when you detach, you signal absolute trust. You move from wanting to knowing, from doubt to certainty, from anxiety to peace. And in that state, your manifestation flows to you effortlessly. Many believe that taking constant action will bring results faster, but manifestation is not about doing more, it is about aligning with the state of already having. Inspired action is different from forced action. Inspired action flows naturally, it feels effortless and aligned. Forced action, on the other hand, is driven by fear and impatience. It is the restless mind trying to control what is beyond its grasp. When you trust, you act from intuition rather than desperation, and every step you take leads you closer to your desire. To practice detachment, shift your focus away from waiting. Do not look at the clock. Do not measure time. Do not check for signs every moment. Instead, immerse yourself in the joy of the present. Act as if your desire has already manifested. Feel the relief, the gratitude, the fulfillment. The more you embody the energy of already having, the faster it arrives. Understand that the universe knows the perfect timing. What you seek is not just about you. It is part of a larger orchestration where everything aligns in divine order. If something is taking time, it is not because you are being denied. It is because the perfect conditions are being arranged. Trust that what is meant for you is already secured. Your only job is to maintain the feeling of certainty and let go of the need to control. The final test of faith is your ability to detach. If you can walk away from your desire knowing that it is already yours, you have mastered the art of creation. You will see that the moment you stop chasing, it starts coming. The moment you release, it arrives. And when it does, you will realize it was never about forcing reality to change. It was about changing yourself to match the reality you desire. Your words are not just sounds, they are commands to the universe, instructions to your subconscious mind, and seeds planted in the field of reality. Every word you speak carries creative power, shaping your world in ways you may not even realize. The life you live today is a direct reflection of the words you have spoken, both consciously and unconsciously over time. If you want to change your reality, you must first change your words. Many people speak carelessly, unaware of the power behind their words. They say things like, "I never have enough money, I always get sick, nothing ever works out for me," and then they wonder why life keeps presenting them with the same struggles. The universe does not question whether what you say is good or bad, right or wrong, it simply responds. It takes your words as truth and arranges circumstances to match them. When you repeatedly affirm something, you are reinforcing that reality, bringing it into existence with greater strength. If you want to transform your life, you must become intentional with your words. Speak only of what you wish to create. Declare abundance, even when you do not yet see it. Speak health, even if you are unwell. Affirm love, even if you feel lonely. This is not about denying your current reality. It is about choosing the reality you wish to experience. Your words serve as the bridge between where you are and where you desire to be. Words spoken with belief carry immense creative power. A simple phrase spoken with conviction can bring forth miracles. This is why affirmations are so effective. When you consistently declare something is true, you train your mind to accept it, and once your mind accepts it, your external world begins to align with it. This is not wishful thinking, it is a fundamental law of creation. What you internalize and affirm repeatedly will eventually manifest in your physical world. The key is to speak as if it is already done. Do not say, "I will be successful one day." Instead say, "I am successful now." The future is an illusion. Everything exists in the now. When you declare something in the present tense, you impress it upon your subconscious mind as a current reality, not a distant possibility. Your subconscious does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. It simply accepts what you consistently feed it. This is why negative words are so dangerous. Many people speak against themselves without realizing it. They say, "I am so unlucky, I always mess things up," or "I am not good enough." These statements are not harmless, they are instructions. When you repeat them, you are affirming limitations and reinforcing a reality you do not want. The subconscious mind takes everything literally. If you constantly affirm struggle, it will create conditions that confirm your words. But the good news is you can reverse this. You can begin right now to speak words of power, words that uplift, words that create the life you truly desire. Begin affirming, "Everything is always working out for me. I am worthy of all the good in the world. I am attracting endless opportunities. I am surrounded by love and abundance." At first, your logical mind may resist these statements because it has been conditioned to believe otherwise. But if you persist, if you keep repeating them with conviction, they will take root. And once they take root, they will grow into tangible reality. Words, when spoken with emotion, accelerate manifestation. It is not enough to say the right words. You must feel them. Speak them with passion, with certainty, with the absolute belief that they are true. When you declare, "I am wealthy," feel the freedom and confidence that wealth brings. When you say, "I am loved," allow yourself to experience the warmth and joy of love. Your emotions are the fuel that gives life to your words. Understand that you are always creating with your words, whether consciously or unconsciously. Choose to speak only that which you wish to see manifest. Let your words be a tool for empowerment, not limitation. Let them build, not destroy. And most importantly, let them affirm the truth of who you really are, a limitless creator, capable of shaping your reality with every word you speak. Everything in your life is a reflection of the words you have consistently spoken, the beliefs you have held, and the feelings you have nurtured. Manifestation is not about hoping or wishing, it is about knowing, declaring, and allowing. Your imagination shapes your reality, your present moment holds the key, your feelings set the foundation, and your faith removes all doubt. Detachment accelerates the process, and your words become the final command that brings everything into form. You are always creating, whether you realize it or not. The question is not whether you are manifesting, but what you are manifesting. If you speak lack, you will experience lack. If you affirm struggle, struggle will follow. But the moment you take control of your words, your emotions, and your beliefs, you shift your entire reality. You no longer wait for things to happen, you declare them as done. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer hope, you know. Speak with conviction, feel with certainty, trust the unseen, and most importantly, detach from the how and when. Once you declare something as yours, the universe will respond in ways beyond your imagination. Let go of fear, doubt, and impatience. Walk with confidence, knowing that everything is already unfolding in your favor. Thank you for listening, and may you use these truths to shape a life of abundance, joy, and limitless possibilities.